Hello friends, today while teaching I observed one thing. There was this word written in the book and I asked one of my students to read it, and when he read it he said I had. I was surprised. Now how can we say that this one is I had and not I would? It can be I had, it can be I would. So how can we be sure that if it's I would or I had? Another example, there is this word. Can we say it's she is or she has? What actually is the basis on which we can say that this one is she is or she has? And most important of all, how do we read it? It's I would, I had, but what to read this one? Because this one is a contraction. Once again, it's she has, it's she is, but how to read this one? Because it's a contraction. In today's lecture, we will see about this one, and about all the important contractions in English language. Contractions are the very soul of English language. If you are reading, if you are writing, if you are speaking, if you are listening, and above all, if you want to understand English easily, you need to understand contractions and their importance. So today's lecture is going to be an extremely important one for you guys. Stay tuned with me. So in the very beginning, we'll see why do we use contractions. Now suppose you are speaking English with your friend. You will not say let us go. You would say let's go, because let's is a contraction for let and us. In the same way, you will not say it is okay. You would say it's okay, like that, because contractions are helpful. They are very convenient when you speak English, when you read English, when you write English, and when you listen English, and above all, when you understand English. People also call them contraction or short form or abbreviation. They are one and the same thing. So we use contractions for convenience. Okay? Next. The next thing that I have noticed, most of the students get confused between an apostrophe and a comma because they look the same. This one is an apostrophe and this one is a comma. Practically, there is no difference in between them. Then how would you know which one is an apostrophe and which one is a comma? On the basis of their location, okay, their position in a sentence. Now look here, it's an apostrophe. Why? Because the position is a little upwards, okay? So this one is an apostrophe. Raju's book is new. This one, as you can see, is a little bit at the bottom of the line. That's why this one is a comma. A comma is used to separate things, okay? So an apostrophe and a comma. Apostrophe is important as far as you are learning contractions, because using apostrophe we make contractions. Let me show you. So when you want to make a contraction, you just need to skip some of the letters. For example, here you have a pair of words, did not. If you want to make a contraction, you say didn't. So you just skipped O and you used an apostrophe. In order to make a contraction, what you need to do is to skip letters. Another example is and not. It's isn't. This O has been removed and you have used an apostrophe in this way. Whenever there is any contraction, most of the times some letters are missing, some letters have been skipped. Okay, now one of the most important things, how would you know if it is I would or I had? There is actually a very simple formula for that. Now look at this sentence. You would say I'd go. Here it cannot be had, because with had we use the third form of the verb, and here we have first form, so it's obviously would. Even if it is I had or even if it is I would, you will read it like I'd. Okay, so how to read it? I'd go in this way, but it actually is a contraction for this one. Okay, once again, I would and I had, they are written in the same form, in the same contraction, I apostrophe and D. But if the next verb is in the third form, it's had. If the next verb is in the first form, it's would. Now look at this example. I'd written a letter. This one is not I would, because the third form of the verb has been used here. So this sentence has had somewhere here, but how would you say it? I'd written a letter in this way, and so is the case with this one. It can be she is or she has, but whenever it's written in a contraction, you would always say she's in this way. She's beautiful. So here it's a contraction for this, she is. Okay, we know that when we say she is beautiful, but when we say she's written a letter, here the third form of the verb has been used, so it's a contraction for she and has. Even if it's she is or she has, you will always read it she's like that. So the most important question that arises right before us, how to read these contractions. For example, we do not know I'd, it was the right pronunciation. We didn't know she's, it was the right pronunciation. So right now I am going to tell you all the important contractions in English language with their perfect pronunciations. Stay tuned. Now we are going to learn the pronunciations for these contractions. This one is I apostrophe and the I'd. How do you say I'd? Like that. It might be a contraction for I would or I had. We don't have to see that now. You'd, like that. He'd, like that. And she'd, like that. These are actually having one syllables, but look at this one, it'd. It sounds a little bit funny, it'd. it has 2 syllables. Comment me if you didn't know the right pronunciation for this contraction. If you like the video, share it with your friends, and do subscribe the channel. Weed, how do we read it? Weed. And date in this way. Now these are 4 important contractions in English language. I've in this way. We've in this way. You've like that. The last one, they've in this way. These are comparatively simpler. I'm, not I am. I have seen enough students who say I am. It's not I am, it's I and am, because it's written separately. Okay, it's written in contraction form. That's why it's I'm and I am. It's your like that. And it's he's, she's, where, and there. In this way, we pronounce different contractions in English language. Now, these are some of the major contractions in English language. Let's learn them. I'll, like that. I'll, you'll, he'll, she'll, it'll. It's not well, it's we'll. Look at the spelling. There is actually an apostrophe here. So you don't say well, you say will, like that. Your lips go circular while you pronounce W. And your upper teeth, they touch your lower lip when you say V, like this. Now W, wow, and velocity, like that. There is actually a difference between the pronunciations. And the last one, they'll. This was the word written once on the blackboard, and when I asked one of the students to read it, he simply said hell, 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 the place where bad people go. So it's not hell, it's heel, like that. I think today's lecture is one of the most important ones, because we have learned different contractions in English language, and because of this, our English listening, English speaking, English writing, English reading, and above all, English understanding is gonna improve to a great extent. Subscribe the channel, press that bell icon, and share the video with whosoever is learning English language. We'll meet you soon in the next lecture. Till then, take care.